Good morning, Chazy! This is the day some of us have been waiting for 13 years. Pause for effect. Growing up with this class has made me who I am today. I wouldn't be the same person if Kale didn't give great reactions every time I pranked him. Round of applause for Kale, please. To think that this is the 101st class day, and that 101 years ago, Chazy was dealing with the Spanish flu. It provides some irony in today's world, with coronavirus and murder hornets popping up everywhere. It reminds me of a 1919 invention, the pop-up toaster. This brings me to my next point, a toast. Please raise your glasses at home, or wherever you are, and join me in this moment, right? May the ominous gray clouds disappear. May the bears wake from hibernation to see a colorful spring. And may the tides turn and the class of 2020 set sail in this forever-changing world. Speaking of sailing, let's sail back in time and reminisce about this great class of 2020. Join me in celebrating the class of 2020.
Kindergarten. Our teachers this year were Mrs. Thum and Mrs. Rovers. This year we were joined by Roxanne O.J. Thompson, Joshua Baker, Chase Barcombe, Dalton Bayshard, Jesse Blaze, Cameron Davis, Devin Dupree, Gabriel Huckrow, Heath Lucas, Emmy Moak, Cale Norcross, Nathan Pilon, Carissa Pupor, Aaron Recor, Josiah Roberts, Olivia Rotella, Gianna Schraders, Jack Sweet, Macy Taylor, Hunter Ray. On the first day of school, while waiting to line up to go home, Heath asked Mrs. Rovers, "How come we didn't learn or do any work today?" One day, Roxanne asked Mrs. Ledoux if she could have Mrs. Thum cut things in half so she could go home early. In 1 month, Nathan won the Eagle ticket prize 3 different times. Cale announced one day, "I came out of my mother's stomach right on my birthday." Macy was always easily excited. She loved getting stickers. On minor day, Gabe thought everything about the farm was gross. He told Mrs. Rovers that making milk was disgusting, and he wasn't sure he liked it anymore. While preparing for Mother's Day tea, Mrs. Rovers wanted Heath to finish the sentence, "My mom is so smart, she can even..." Heath decided to make it known that his dad was smarter and he didn't want to finish the sentence. During gym show practice, Cale asked Mrs. Rovers to slow the dance down because his hat kept falling off. Our theme this year was Western. Jesse would not take his hands out of his pockets to receive his diploma or shake Mr. Tregan's hand at graduation. Our field trip this year included picking apples and pumpkins at Applejack's Orchard and picnicking at Point Rush. Some memorable activities included our Thanksgiving lunchroom, participating in Books from the Heart, having our 100th day celebration, Mother's Day tea, Father's Day kickball, and graduation. I will now turn the history over to my friend and classmate Aaron.
First grade. In first grade, our teachers were Miss Pupor and Miss Woods. We were joined by Mara Garrett, Noah Martin, and Alyssa Young Murphy. Noah kissed his biceps frequently this year. Dalton was very interested in Emmy. He stared at her endlessly. Jonna and Aaron were constantly fighting over Hunter. Cale Norcross never moved his smiley face all year. Our first chapter book read aloud was Junie B. Jones' Toothless Wonder. When discussing what the Tooth Fairy might do with our teeth, some suggestions were make jewelry, Olivia Rotella, and collecting them. Students shared their collections. Nathan Pilon's collection was bottle caps because he said, "My daddy drinks a lot of beer." Nathan's grandmother made us a yummy snack of homemade chocolate chip cookies in October. Josie and Ethan proceeded to exchange recipe secrets. During snack time in May, there was a class discussion of how many times classmates had been married. Miss Ledoux and Miss Woods discovered the class was counting the number of circle pretzels in their Chex Mix to determine the number of marriages. Mara led the way with 9. The students were so excited and very cute in their costumes for their play. Nuts. It took 3 months of practice. We performed our play in May. Mr. Frisbee had a moment when the class started to sing 2 different versions of the song The Sun at the same time. Everyone quickly recovered, and the play was a great success. Mara and Devin had a love-hate relationship this year. During indoor recess in March, Nathan challenged Miss Ledoux to a checkers match by saying, "You used to be the queen of the kingdom." She took him up on the offer. She won. She is still the queen. While visiting the Little Red Schoolhouse in October, we learned how it was to go to school during that time. We used small chalkboards and thin pieces of chalk to do our work. We were taught how to curtsy to the teacher. Roxanne and Carissa would curtsy to Miss Woods, Miss Verkey, and Miss Pooper for months afterwards. This year in June, we went to Shelburne Farm instead of Park Safari. We were excited to be the first class to go on this trip. Despite the downpour rain the entire trip to Vermont, there was no rain at the farm. We all got to learn how to milk a cow. The chickens were our favorite part of the trip because we got to pick them up and their eggs. Miss Pooper, Miss Ledoux, and Miss Woods all got pooped on by the pigeons while watching the chicken parade. This year, we got to participate in many memorable activities, including making turkey picture frames for our families for Thanksgiving, making gingerbread houses with our parents and grandparents in December, making wind chimes for Mother's Day, and making bird houses for Father's Day. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Cameron.
Second grade. Our teachers this year were Mrs. Langlois and Mrs. Barco. We were joined by Caden Bedard. For about a full week before we went to the planetarium, Macy would ask daily, if not hourly, when we were going to the sanitarium. No matter how many times the teacher tried to correct her, Macy insisted on going to the sanitarium. Heath was overheard telling his friends he was going to have a great dump tomorrow. For our first writing activity, the children were asked to write about their summers. Heath wrote all about his really cool fart, but meant to say fort, and Mrs. Langlois laughed endlessly. Olivia was the girl to date this year, though Carissa loved Nathan and Noah. Mara farted in class loudly while Mrs. Barcombe was reading. She scooted behind a bookshelf and stayed there until Mrs. Barcombe finished reading the book. Our field trips this year including visiting the planetarium in October, performing our Western play in December, making a bear named Ralph in March at the Vermont Teddy Bear Factory, visiting the Eco Science Museum in Vermont, and attending Poetry Alive at Plattsburgh State in June. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Macy.
Third grade. Our teachers this year were Miss Favreau and Mr. Dupree. This year we were joined by Kagan Kluge and Kaya Wood. Mr. Cheeseman visited us every week to help us with our math facts. Friday math competitions were the highlight of our week. Mr. Dupree's class usually won. This year, we were a class of kneelers. We never sat in our chairs, and at any given time, half the class would be kneeling. Kagan had a crush on Carissa and gave her a necklace for Valentine's Day that he bought with his own money. We went to Sable Chasm. We decided to walk back through the trail instead of taking the trolley. When returning back to school, many students commented that they did not want to see another set of stairs ever again. We learned how to make our slides for our condensed PowerPoint presentation this year. Devin was caught peeing in the wooden house on the playground. Kale says to Mr. Dupree, "Mr. Dupree, come on, 2:30, I'm sore, my back hurts, and I have to poop." Heath and Macy always seem to find mud on the playground. Mara peed her pants when she insisted that she had to go to the bathroom. The students introduced Annoying Orange to Mr. Dupree. Too funny. Justin Bieber was the favorite of all the girls. Kale, during a spelling test, announced, "Excuse me, I just tooted." Jesse had a pair of underwear stuck to his sweatshirt. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Carissa.
Fourth grade year. Our teachers this year were Mrs. Mosier and Miss Sutherland. We were joined by Joseph Delaire. Alyssa Young Murphy rejoined our class in the spring. Heath would wear his clothes backwards all day to encourage a snow day. Jacques thought that pirates invading New York instead of the British. It was a bit of a wild year. Several students had a difficult time keeping from talking in class. Jesse loved goofing around constantly. Macy broke her wrist, and it was 4 sad weeks of inside recess and sitting out of gym for her. We volunteered to sell angels for Make-A-Wish Foundation in the mall. We broke the record of all previous classes, raised over $17,000. During Regents Week, gym was being held outside. Mara wanted to go inside to use the bathroom, but wasn't allowed, so she peed her pants. Our 4th grade Olympics color was blue this year for Miss Sutherland's class. Miss Sutherland's class won for the first time in years, 13 to 12. This year, we got to visit the Minor Museum, visit Fort Ticonderoga, attend Poetry Alive at Plattsburgh State, and write our autobiographies. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Jonna.
5th grade. This year our teachers were Miss Walsh and Miss Graves. Olivia screamed when she put her hand in the cow and pulled her hand out so quickly that she flung cow stomach stuff all over. We had great fun with our kindergarten buddies all year. Deputy Head and Dare was great. We all enjoyed the glasses that make you feel drunk. Dalton won the Dare essay contest. Our class was well known in the elementary as a chatty class. We sure lived up to that this year, and then some. Hunter talked all year. Miss Ledoux, Heaven, and Heath scared Miss Graves with a toy mouse. She jumped and screamed. Heath fell over the weekend and came into school saying, "I cut myself shaving." Cameron and Aaron would often come in from recess still tattling about someone who didn't play their game right. I will now turn the reading back to my friend and classmate, Emmy.
6th grade. Our teachers this year were Mrs. Lemaire and Mrs. Lambert. In September, we enjoyed our trip to the Clinton County Fairgrounds for the Environmental Field Day. Cale wanted to be called Batman this year. We also ushered assemblies this year. In October, we went to Camp Pocomacrady and climbed Rattlesnake Mountain and worked on our team building activities. We didn't do so well on them, but we redeemed ourselves in the spring because we rocked the ropes course. Our teamwork was amazing. On the canoeing part of our Poco trip, Dalton thought it would be funny to rock the boat. With the weight in the boat and the water coming in, the boat sunk. He had to swim to shore and sit in his wet clothes while everyone else continued canoeing. Gabe needed directions given multiple times because he was always daydreaming, perhaps about Olivia, since they were a couple. Nathan always ended words ending in ing, like in. Fishing, camping. This drove Mrs. Lemaire nuts. Our fun day theme was a Susical Fun Day, and Emmy designed the t-shirt. It felt like we practiced our fun day skits for days, weeks, even months just to get them right. We looked beautiful on our first class day. Hunter didn't make it and we all assumed he was fishing. He skipped several days of school for this. I will now turn the reading back to my friend and classmate, Aaron.
7th grade. This year we were joined by Michael Lapierre. We were studying vocabulary words in French class and giving examples. Hunter was asked to define the word interrogate. Miss Brandella asked him, "Who were you with on the night of the murder?" Hunter replied, "With the person I killed." She then asked him what he was doing before the murder, and he said, "Sharpening my knife." In social class, we were discussing abortion, and Macy said they weren't accepted as humans until they had fingers. Mr. Fichette asked, "How many?" Macy replied, 4. Then after a lengthy conversation, it was decided that Macy loved male pregnant 4-fingered babies. Kagan and his friends held up 4 fingers and said, "I am a human," to Macy for weeks after. There were 5 minutes left in Spanish class when Chase fell off his chair and belly flopped on the floor. Everyone laughed out loud and class never resumed. 4th period science class made Mr. Myers laugh so hard that he cried. Whenever Aaron and Nathan tried to have a serious conversation, Josie would be at third wheel and budge in. Alyssa got a kickball stuck in the rafters in the gymnasium. She went to kick it, and it shot straight up. Mr. Norcross spent a couple minutes trying to knock it down while Alyssa laid on the ground laughing at herself in embarrassment. Hunter wrote his capital I's like lowercase c's. Noah sat with Carissa, Kagan, and Karen while supporting the varsity soccer teams. Erin had a photo shoot where she took pictures of her friends, Heaven, Jonna, Kaya, Alyssa, and Mara. Dalton Bayshard was the most redneck of redneckness through the whole year, as written by Dalton Bayshard. In Mr. Thompson's math class, Jack watched some seagulls fly away. Mr. Thompson asked him if they flew away. Jack said yes. He asked if they saw Jack's face. Jack said yes. Mr. Thompson asked if that's why the seagulls flew away. Jack said yes. I mean, no. Mr. Thompson then suggested some people needed to pay more attention in class. Kia loved to fart in math class. Emmy peed her pants in the weight room during gym because Olivia couldn't do a pull-up. While presenting a slideshow in health class, there was a lone slide with a banana, and the boys announced, "Here's the banana," and the class continually used that phrase for the rest of the year. In tech, Emmy managed to flip her chair while not moving, and Mr. Sick said, "I thought you were the only normal moke, but I guess not." Gabe and Caden almost beat the impossible quiz. Olivia accidentally gave a girl a concussion in basketball because she ran into her. Cameron and Emmy went sledding at St. Mary, and Emmy hit her face on the ground. She bit her lip, and it wouldn't stop bleeding. Joe got stepped on by a horse. Cameron and Carissa went bike riding. Carissa had a princess bike and wouldn't stop complaining about how hard the seat was. Mara and Alyssa looked at each other and died laughing. When Mr. Sick asked if they were okay, they said no. He laughed at them. Joe read 32 books this year. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Jonna.
8th grade. This year we were joined by Madison Briette. Emmy, Cameron, and Olivia stayed up all night working on the Mystery Machine, and it got ruined the next day at the talent show during winter weekend. Devin and Jesse went hiking, and on the way down, Jesse had to go number 2. He ended up using leaves as toilet paper. Cameron walked into Emmy's house, and Emmy was screaming and crying because she couldn't get her earring in, so Cameron stabbed it through her ear. Gabe drank half a gallon of chocolate milk and almost threw up. Erin was walking down the hall to gym with Maddie, and she slipped, going down the stairs, but caught herself just in time. "I am just that fabulous," she remarked. Cameron and Emmy went to Vermont, and Emmy stepped on a tack in the dressing room, and Cameron pulled it out. Emmy was screaming and crying while laughing. Josh and Heath were making jokes and faces about Jack making people laugh and clowning Jack. Joe, Michael, and Dalton gave each other piggyback rides when they were walking down the hallway to Miss Baldwin's lab class. Noah bought cans of whipped cream at Stewart's and longboarded down the road, spraying whipped cream into his mouth. Macy dropped her phone into the toilet and when she went to the bathroom. Then, during lunch, she brought it out into the courtyard and asked people to fix it. None of us knew she had dropped it into the toilet until we had asked what happened. More than 10 of us had touched it. Michael and Joe were hanging out and they found a giant red ball. Joe pretended he was pregnant and bounced his baby on the trampoline. Olivia fell asleep during health. Josie, Nathan, and Joe were running around a pole, and Nathan and Joe were trying to catch Josie. Josie stopped abruptly, which caused Joe to run into Josie, and Nathan to smash his head against Joe's. Even after half an hour, they were still laughing hysterically. While out riding in the sand pit, Hunter drove up a steep hill, flipped the four-wheeler, and had to squeeze out from under it. During winter weekend, Emmy was Scooby-Doo, Cameron was Velma, and Olivia played Donald Trump. For the play, Emmy had to take a bag off Olivia's head. When she did, Olivia's head snapped back, her wig fell off, and everyone started laughing. I will now turn the reading over my friend and classmates, Chase and Jesse.
9th grade. This year we were joined by Tyler Bayshard and Madison Rue. At one of the 2016 bonfires, the attendees thought the fire needed more gas. So Josh poured 5 gallons of gas onto it, and he ended up catching the field on fire. One day, Hunter was throwing around Macy's pencil case and expensive calculator in lab, and it ended up in the recycling bin. When Macy noticed it was missing during Math AIS, she went to Miss Baldwin, who said the recycling had been taken out about 20 minutes ago. This then led to Macy and Cameron searching through all the recycling bins. When they still couldn't find the calculator, Macy went to go get a janitor to check the dumpster. When she returned, she found Cameron dead first in the dumpster. Then Mr. Fairchild went into the dumpster to help look through it. The items weren't found in the dumpster.
For winter weekend, we did the adventures of Dora and Shrek. It followed the adventure of Dora, Donkey, Shrek, the map, and Boots going through a series of trials to get to Swiper's lair to save their friends. Michael asked Mara to punch him in the face. She did this in the hall, making his lip bleed. When he arrived in algebra, Miss Penfield asked what had happened. Michael said he got hurt playing a game, but when Miss Penfield promised that no one would get in trouble if the truth was told, Michael ratted Mara out and said she punched him in the face. I will now turn this reading over to my friend and classmate Mara.
10th grade. At summer soccer practice, Heath was outside juggling a soccer ball. Emmy joined in. Heath then showed Emmy a new trick. Because Emmy is competitive, she was really confident she could do the new trick. Unfortunately, Emmy tripped on the ball, spraining her ankle. Emmy was crying, but Heath was laughing. At the beginning of the year, Mr. Cross's TV board didn't work for a few weeks. So every day, Mr. Cross decided to pull out his trusty old plug-in overhead projector, and every time, he would say, "Technology in the classroom." Mara and Macy hated each other for a time. In art class, Mara got a hold of Macy's phone. Macy wanted it back and they ended up fighting. Mara slapped Macy in the face and got ISS. Luckily, now the girls are close friends. Caden, Heath, and Gabe ordered 100 bouncy balls and then distributed them. Soon everybody had them. Not even a week later, they were banned. Dalton got hit in the nose by a frisbee and started spraying blood. Kale burped so much that he threw up during gym class. And every day was a new seat in English 10. During English, the students were playing mom ball. Macy and Cameron decided to dance during the game, but Macy bent wrong and ripped her pants. Heath wrote a declaration of rights of a Chazy student. Mara, Aaron, and Roxanne were awarded a trip to the Great Escape. Girls stayed on the same roller coaster the whole time and created little challenges to do, including keeping their hands in the air the whole time. The girls made friends with the people who controlled the ride. I will now turn the reading back to my friend and classmate, Carissa.
11th grade. Roxanne left our class in November. Kagan was driving his car on a dirt road doing donuts around a tree. Hunter tried it but almost hit a tree when he swung around. At one of the soccer games, right before the timer hit 2 minutes, the crowd screamed, "Kale, how much time is left?" To which Kale replied, 2 minutes. The crowd screamed below, "Thank you," over the speakers during the game. Kale replied, "You're welcome." Kagan borrowed his friend's mom's car and hit 100 miles per hour. When asked to go faster, he topped at 120 miles per hour. One morning, Jack, Jesse, Gabe, Nathan, and Mike all decided to test the suspension in Kagan's truck. They all crawled into the back and crazily jumped around. Later that day, Kagan's truck ran into some complications. He rolled it. During Christmas Fun Day, everyone in our class sat down for the sing-along. Jesse was the only one who stood up and attempted to yell for the entire class. In January, Noah, Dalton, Kagan, and Hunter decided to go off-roading while it was snowy. Dalton's minivan gets stuck in the deep snow after Kagan's F-150 and Hunter's Kia drove through it. Noah hooked it up to his Toyota Tacoma and pulled him out. Then Kagan and Hunter decided it would be a good idea to drive their cars into snowbanks. They both got stuck. Noah pulled out Kagan's 8-cylinder with his 4-cylinder, and Hunter managed to get out on his own. In the middle of the year, we were swimming in gym and the fire alarm went off. We thought we were all about to freeze to death. We had to deal with doing a halfway job of drying off, throwing our clothes on, and getting out of the building. The females were told to put our hair in towels so it wouldn't freeze. Kyle left her glasses in the building and she could not see. During prom setup, Nathan and Joe were able to complete the hallway decorations in time it took the whole class to decorate part of the stage. During prom setup, the Christmas lights we hung on a curtain repeatedly came down until Emmy and Noah had the idea to zip tie them together. However, it did not work because during the prom march, multiple fell and below the sheet that was put in front of them. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate Roxanne.
In 12th grade, we were joined by Ariana Foshag. Roxanne rejoined our class this year. In physics, Ari was explaining why she needed a ruler to draw a line because she had OCD. But instead of saying OCD, she said STD. Macy jumped the chain link fence in gym to help get another student's frisbee, but couldn't manage to jump back over the fence once she got it. So Roxanne jogged to the end of the fence with her, but instead of going through the gate that was being unlocked by Kale, Macy crawled through the hole in the fence with the help of Roxanne. During winter weekend, Heath and Cameron were practicing for the wheelbarrow race. Heath was the wheelbarrow and Cameron was holding his feet. They were going fast and the class really thought they might have a chance at first place. This hope was destroyed when Cameron tipped and fell on top of Heath. And then Chase and Emmy were doing the drag race, and Chase tripped and fell, which resulted in Emmy falling on top of him. They laid there a long time, but then before they were able to get back up and finish the race. The entire senior class read The Call of the Wild by Jack London so we could attend a private showing of the newly released movie after winter break. But little did we know this was to be our final class outing. The senior play was the premiere of Tuckered by Matthew Begbie. The playwright sent the cast and crew several good luck messages, but due to New York State closing all schools on March 16th, 6 days before the performance dates, the premiere was canceled. The first day of the quarantine, Gabe, Nathan, and Devin went on a bike ride to Stewart's at 3 a.m. for no reason at all. They never bought anything, and after this adventure, Nathan wasn't allowed out of the house until for the remainder of quarantine. Jonna brought Roxanne donuts and coffee from Dunkin' Donuts after work. Due to social distancing rules, Jonna sat in her car while Roxanne sat on her porch, and they talked to each other through the phone. After, Roxanne showed off her hot tub from 6 feet away. In attempts to get better participation, class meetings were held late at night in April and May. Hunter and Noah often missed the meetings because they were fishing. Members of the class were often seen on camera hanging out in their cars in the school parking lot. This included Mara, Cameron, Michael, Emmy, Chase, Jesse, and Ari. Quarantine chat circles also happened at the Chazy Rec Park. This concludes the history of the class of 2020.
Time you enjoyed wasting was not wasted.
Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment in the garden.
You ain't got to worry about which road you're on if you ain't even on the road.
The best high school memories are the ones made around the bonfire.
May I have my senior year back?
Don't steal, the government doesn't like competition.
I would flex, but I like this shirt.
Most smiles are started by another smile.
Yeet.
They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But ladies, if the doctor's cute, forget the fruit.
Carissa, 2 R's, 1 S. Books are like people, except interesting.
What if we walked within 6 feet of each other?
If the world was ending, I'd probably grab some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, some water, and I'd probably just go crazy.
If idiots could fly, this place would be an airport.
Fight like Agent Carter, think like Tony Stark, and act like Steve Rogers.
You don't wear the mullet wears you.
What's life without a little risk?
If I paid for the whole speedometer, I'm going to use the whole speedometer.
This isn't even my final form.
I find my best self in the depths of a pool.
Keep on keeping on.
Some see a hopeless end while others see endless hope.
Little lungs in a big world.
Remember, wherever you go, there you are.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Panthers persevere. We are the class of 2020. a year like none other. Born in a time of terror, graduating in a pandemic. Separated when we needed each other the most. We are surviving, but not yet thriving. The aim was to flatten the curve. The result, drowning in work no one prepared us for. Many left feeling defeated, even cheated. No point if we don't have graduation anyway. Traditions going out the window as we lock our doors. But we are the class of 2020. And the crazy thing is, while we are physically so far apart, our class is bonding in an incredible way. We look out for one another. We check in more than ever. While we agree the situation sucks, it hasn't stomped out our fire. We joke for hours on end and offer help to anyone struggling, whether it be with school or our situation. We're missing our friends months before we planned. Class day, graduation, senior play. Things we fear we won't get to put in our memory books. We are the class of 2020, the powerful Purple Panthers. Tiny in number, but mighty in spirit. And together, we will persevere.
Sixth grade, new clubs and sports to try.
7th grade, the ability to walk faster in the halls.
8th grade, a smooth transition into high school.
9th grade, the ability to not spread out across the hallways when you're at your lockers.
10th grade, an amazing prom next year.
To Kyle Barcombe, a fresh gallon of milk.
McKenna Bell, her own dairy farm.
Sam Bell, a tracking device for his school materials.
To Kendra Bushy, an aide that's at least half as awesome as Miss Napoli.
Mackenzie Chapman, a foul-free, blood-free basketball season.
Tanner Connors, being named first team All-Stars this season.
To Dragan Kuhn, an hour of silence, and an extra season to play baseball.
Joey Day and Darza, better finishing from the 6-yard box.
Ben Dickerson, an alarm clock.
Kobe Drake, a filter for public places.
Emily Dufour-Woznicki, a professional softball career after getting to announce senior year.
Patrick Dwyer, an award at Harvard.
Patrick Engels, a return flight to Chazy.
Riley Hansen, his own cool Jeep.
Callie Harvey, a vacation home in Florida.
To Kaylin Hernandez, an endless supply of hair color.
Allie Haru, a TikTok dance career.
Willow Hers, a calendar lets her find time to do it all.
To Macy Hostler, her own ambulance once she becomes a paramedic.
Malachi Hunyor, a consistent jump shot.
Celine Juno, a double season with lacrosse for her senior year.
To Bree Knight, more time to help at Elmore.
Kate Langlois, a great senior year soccer season and a full recovery from her surgery.
Monica Lizardi, a singing career on Broadway.
To Connor McCarthy, a life wish and a better pair of shin pads.
Olivia McLennan, an injury-free senior year.
Pierre Morin, the lead role in the senior play.
To Seth Sawyer, people who will say hi back to him with as much enthusiasm as he has.
Isabel Seymour, a gift certificate for CV Tech haircuts.
Emma Smith, an all-star sports season for her senior year.
Devin Tarian, a year without medical issues.
Jocelyn Vesneski, a chauffeur when Ari graduates.
To the new faculty, sorry we never got to have you in class, but we wish you much success and happiness at CCRS.
For the bus drivers, sound-canceling headphones.
The cafeteria, your favorite foods cooked for you instead of having to do it yourself.
Custodians and maintenance, machines like the Jetsons have to make your jobs easier.
Mrs. Adams, continued success with the elementary Relay for Life.
Mrs. Baker, treasurers who do the books correctly and on time.
Ms. Baldwin, more students in astronomy club.
To Mrs. Barcombe, more coffee and appreciation.
Mrs. Barclay, a winning season while coaching.
Miss Branch, your own secretary.
Mrs. Basso, award for the best chocolate chip bars.
Miss Brandell, an all-expense paid, all-inclusive trip to France.
Mrs. Brown, unlimited hair dye to cover all the silvery whites students cause her.
Miss Conroy, enjoy your son's graduation.
Mr. Cross, another Eddie Vedder drumstick and a new Nerf football.
Miss Dandreau, a year without recess duty.
Mrs. Duffy, new books for the class library.
Miss Dupree, hundreds of luminary donations for Relay for Life.
Mrs. Everett, an all-expense-paid trip to Hawaii.
Mrs. Fall, more shirts to match the books you teach.
Miss Favreau, more time to spend with your grandchildren.
Mr. Frechette, a lifetime subscription to Junior Scholastic.
Miss Garand, students who swim and turn off the showers.
Mrs. Garrett, best wishes to you and your beautiful baby girl.
Miss Garrow, more time to pursue outdoor activities that you enjoy.
Mrs. Goslin, self-returning premium all-purpose ice packs.
Mr. Granny, wood that cuts itself.
Miss Green, a retirement trip to see Mickey at Disney with your granddaughter.
Mrs. Gushlaw, happy times with your beautiful son.
Miss Jock, more beads to create beautiful masterpieces.
Mrs. Juno, an Uber driving gift certificate so you can get a break.
Mr. Kane, more class movie trips.
Mrs. Koss, fewer night hours at school.
Mrs. Ledoux, a great summer spending time with your new grandbaby.
Miss Lemaire, a ticket to play on The Price is Right.
Mrs. Lambert, good weather for all the Pokemoonshine hikes.
Miss Langlois, fake mice in every cabinet and drawer.
Mrs. Levine, earplugs to block out senior jokes in homeroom.
Miss Lawrence, a gift certificate to Bed Bath & Beyond to decorate your new home.
Mr. Molson, more Minion stuff.
Mrs. Martin, an emergency contract for everyone who needs one.
Mr. McAuliffe, first years who actually bring stuff out to the field.
Mrs. McCartney, more time to spend riding your horse.
Mr. Meadow, a hit album for your band.
Miss Napoli, a well-deserved happy retirement.
Mr. Norcross, a reason to come to work now that both his sons are graduated.
Mr. Osborne, a dub in the volleyball tournament next year.
Mr. Palkovic, SWAT members to help with tech challenges with Macy graduating.
Mr. Patnode, the annotated copy of H.P. Lovecraft.
Miss Penfield, a letter to Hogwarts from the Owl Postal System.
Miss Pothass, museum trip opportunities for every class.
Mrs. Fupor, relaxing, stress-free weekends with your husband.
Miss Racine, a less taxing search for gift cards for next year's fun day.
Mrs. Riley, a year without lunch duty or a quiet cafeteria.
Mrs. Rovers, a sandbox.
Miss Ryan, a new walking stick and a kayaking paddle.
Mrs. Stone, unlimited Dunkin' Donuts and a never-ending cup of coffee.
Miss Supinski, a trip to the spa.
Miss Sutherland, a season pass for skiing your favorite peak.
Mr. Thompson, a lifetime supply of health for you and Alice.
Mrs. Thum, inflatable number people.
Mr. Tregan, SPF 100.
Miss Whedon, your own parents' night out. Mr. Weeks, time to sleep and spend with your children.
Mr. West, a grandson with a name that rhymes.
Miss Wise, unlimited trips to Harrigan's with Buster.
Mrs. Wilford, more time to go mineral and rock hunting.
Miss Wilson Mosier, a gift certificate to the farmer's market for organics.
Mrs. Wilson Stevens, the biggest meatballs for team dinners.
Mrs. Woods, new experiments to try in STEM and the materials you need to do them.
Hi, I'm Steve Patnode, high school librarian here at Chazy Central, and I'm also the yearbook advisor. I'm here today to welcome you to the Class of 2020 yearbook dedication ceremony. Normally we would have the ceremony in the auditorium where we could have the entire school body together in order to hear this message. But in this format, probably more people will actually hear it than would have there, and I think the seniors would agree that that's not a bad thing. I would like to thank the Yearbook Club for all of the work they did this year to get the yearbook together, taking hundreds of pictures that you will see in the book, as well as fundraising that helps keep it affordable for all of us. I'd like to thank Cale Norcross, who created the cover art for the book this year, this beautiful eagle design. Cale is a member of the class of 2020, so I'm particularly happy that a student in the graduating class was able to design the cover for us. It's the first student designed cover in many years. So thank you, Cale. And I'd like to thank my TAs for everything that they've done through the year to help get the yearbook created and produced. They started last summer working on the advertising campaign, and through the year they've scanned pictures, taken pictures, organized information, including most of the senior class information in the book, run errands, all kinds of things that needed to be done at a moment's notice, and I'm very grateful to them for that. So I'd like to thank Jesse Blaze, Chase Barcombe, Michael Lapierre, Aaron Recor, Noah Martin, and Tyler Bayshard for everything they did for the yearbook, as well as for the library and the school this school year. Thanks to them. All right, now I'd like to introduce to you the students who wrote the dedication, and we'll read it for you. The seniors came up with the idea for this dedication in the winter, long before there was any thought of a pandemic. When they wrote the dedication, they knew they had to address the pandemic because it did affect the end of their school year. But that doesn't overshadow the ultimate message of their dedication, which I think is very important to remember. They are justifiably proud of their dedication idea, and I think that, and in a few moments you will see why. And we're all very proud of them here for it too. So without further ado, here are the students who wrote the dedication on behalf of their classmates, Aaron Recor, Jonna Schraders, and Chase Barcombe, with one surprise guest at the end of the message. So enjoy it. Thank you all for supporting the yearbook and supporting the school, and I hope to see everybody very soon in person.
Like most new school children, we entered CCRS wary of the future, uncertain about making new friends, facing the challenges of new environments and routines. As it turned out, this would be a small feat compared to what we would experience in the hallways and classrooms of junior and senior high school. The saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Translated to our situation, it took the entire faculty and staff to raise us into ambitious young adults with determination for the future. We may not have recognized it at the time, but we know now that there was a force at CCRS pushing us all to excel. We are grateful to the people inside these walls who stood by us at our most incorrigible and made it possible for us to be where we are today. As the class of 2020 looks back at the amazing faculty and staff who helped us through, we can confidently state hindsight is indeed 2020.
We were born into an age in society which had been reshaped by the tragic events of 9/11. Making our families wonder how our early upbringing would play out in a changed world. We were too young to have a memory of what took place then, but as fate would have it, our senior year was changed by a pandemic that consumed the media, news, families, and communities worldwide.
The educational force both pushing and pulling us through our junior high and high school years, when we were an unpredictable challenge, saw us at our worst and doubled down to bring out our best. The effect that teachers can have on one student, not to mention an entire class, is more powerful than one may realize, especially in our case. That force carried us with unfailing determination through times when we gave our teachers little reason to believe we could succeed. Our teachers never stopped believing in us and guiding us through our refusal to work in class and late homework assignments, passing all our Riddance exams and other testing, 6 winter weekends, the responsibilities of the Chromebook transition, an unexpectedly wonderful prom, and all the preparation needed to complete a successful senior year, including the Senior Legacy Project, preparations for class day and graduation, along with hundreds of other expectations.
While we were busy, both figuratively and literally, throwing bouncy balls in the hallways and classrooms, our teachers consistently gave us the tough love we needed. They told us that when changes in testing throw a wrench in your way, catch it and use it in your toolbox. They kept the faith and trusted that we would get to the Riddance exams and show the state that nothing could stop us from passing, and we fulfilled that expectation.
Our teachers helped many of us realize our worth, not only as students but as people. That tough love combined with nurturing care pushed us through our most challenging times. For example, when it was our time for prom, teachers adopted our class and then stuck with us till the very end to make sure we overcame our obstacles and had a magical night. Without their help, we would have never been able to pull it off. Over time, we became aware that many of our teachers were purposely adopting us, with the determination of shepherding us through all of our milestones. Their support showed us we were not only capable of doing well, but filled with potential.
Our senior year took an unexpectedly sharp turn while we were preparing for this dedication. When CCRS closed on March 15th due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we quickly realized that our year would never be the same. Not seeing the classmates we'd grown up with in person, along with doing our schoolwork through video meetings with our teachers, was a different mindset than we could have ever anticipated. Beyond our disappointment, it heightened our awareness of how much it would mean to us to spend the remaining time we had in high school with those who helped us get to this point.
It was faculty, staff, administration, coaches, and community members, each with different styles of teaching us and reaching us, who reminded us again and again that during all these years, everyone wanted us to be, and believed we could be, the best students and people we could. We will forever appreciate that. For this and so much more, we, the class of 2020,
dedicate our yearbook to all of you who have stood by us through thick and thin,
and made it possible for us to be who and where we are today. The class of 2020 wants to say as one voice,
thank you.
Classmates, come and gather here, so that we may look into the sphere. We shall look into the ball that holds the future of us all. It tells us what we are to be, so listen while we look and see.
If your pet is feeling under the weather, Roxanne is right there and very prepared to help them feel better.
Everyone knows his lawnmowers are big, no lawn is too small. If he could, Josh would mow them all, and his big moving business could use some more gigs.
Price can tell you some before a price. Every year his harvest is very nice. In the summer, his garden is the best to go to.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. If something happens and your car won't start, Dalton will be there with all of his tools and parts. His love for machines is more than you can measure.
Our class reunion, and we were missing one guest. Out in the woods where no one can see, sits this senior on top of a tree. But I'm sure he's enjoying the peace and he can finally rest.
If it wasn't for his favorite game Osu and his parents' nice basement, where he will most likely grow old and ancient, Caden would be lost with nothing to do.
If for some reason we enter another war, on the front lines you'll see a man of great power. The enemy team can't do anything but cower because Jesse is there and he's going hardcore.
Some of us only dream of going where the sun is always a-glowin'. Maybe a beach in Puerto Rico or the coast of the Bahamas. Living a life with no drama. If you visit the ocean, you'll see Madison a-floatin'.
Whether you're at the school or on the lake, no matter where you are, you can always hear Kagan from afar. His old exhaust is simply a keepsake.
Her car is getting low on gas. Kagan and Macy don't seem to care. All she can do is look and glare. Let's hope they live through the aftermath.
When someone's been hurt, if you need a paramedic, and on the double, Joe's there if you're in some kind of trouble. And if you need help fast, don't worry. He's always on high alert.
Finding a good place to eat on a date, the greatest chef in town has your back. Cooking seems to be his knack. His latest creations always taste great.
When word breaks of the latest events, our favorite newscaster is live on air, telling us where, leaving us all in suspense.
So you say there's a new J.K. Rowling novel? Don't let Mara know. In her room, there's already a book overflow. Her love of literature is quite colossal.
If you see her in class, her pages are a marvel as they're covered all in doodles of a bottle, a noodle, or even a pet poodle. Everyone else's drawings are clearly surpassed.
Every 4 years we have an election for who will sit in the Oval Office. Someone who's convincing, calculated, and cautious. When Gabe's your candidate, you're in the right direction.
Not much has changed with Michael Lapierre. The days go by while he shreds his guitar. His job at the dairy farm isn't too far, and he lives in the basement of his mother's house that he loves so dear.
You'd think by now the circus would be over. The doors have all closed on our senior year, but he still wanders around here, playing pranks that aren't very covert.
When the first snow falls, many tend to get sad. For Noah, snow means ice, and that means ice fishing for catches that are very nice. And for that, a big cold lake, he is glad.
At every game, there's one we can rely on. Despite the enormous heft, Kayla is still being asked how much time is left. Let's hope by the time he gets angry, they're all gone.
Being a doctor is hard enough, having to go to college too. With barely any sleep or food, this senior's bound and determined.
In a couple years, when you're having a baby and you would like to know the gender, just go to the ultrasound center. There, Carissa is your lady.
Emmy's name isn't hard to pronounce. When it is time for attendance is quite a hassle. It makes her mad like she wants to wrestle. Yet Emma and Emily are still announced.
Locking up crooks is where she will be. Arguing has always been her passion. Erin Strives rocks the best courtroom fashion. Her dreams came true. She's the district attorney.
When the hair dye runs out, it'll be a miracle, as the bleach did a number from which Josiah will never recover, but the day his hair falls out will be difficult.
Family comes first, and she's proved this true. The day Olivia becomes a mother, we won't be blue, as her love of babies is always overt.
Her skills as a musician come in quite handy. She's there on the road with her favorite bands, making sure the next set is carefully planned. Working with her always ups the ante.
A Friday night is never too wild unless Jack's getting in an ATV accident. To say his back was only a little hurt would be inaccurate, and to this day he only looks back and smiles.
If you're driving down the road and you see an accident, don't be surprised, she's just practicing. It is this senior, and I'm sure she'll need to be towed.
If you're looking for a good friend indeed, when you need someone caring and just as daring, Kaya is the mom friend just for you.
If you are looking to clear some land, and someone who can do it right, whether it is day or night, Hunter is your man.
If you are feeling under the weather and you don't know where to go, at UVM, whether rain or snow, Alyssa will always help you feel better.
Now that we've told you what the future will bring, let's hope that we've covered most everything. Now everything has left our view. We hope our predictions will all come true.
Good afternoon, students, faculty, staff, administration, community members, and parents. As junior class president, I was gifted with the task of talking about all the great things about the class of 2020. Since this class is filled with amazing individuals who I've known almost my entire life, I figured writing this speech would be simple enough. But then I found out it had to be more than 30 seconds long, and I had to start thinking a little deeper. The class of 2020 has certainly left its mark on the rich history of CCRS. Some of the more notable achievements include being the Pandemic Panthers, the boys soccer state champions in 2017 and 2018, and bringing homecoming to Chazy. While you have been far from a traditional class, you have your own style that makes you unique and memorable, and usually in a good way. I think I speak for the entire student body when I say that you have impacted our lives for the better. What's truly inspiring about your class is your ability to stick together through thick and thin. Even though it may not have always been easy, you're still all about to take on the next chapter of your lives, and you couldn't have done it without each other. This is without a doubt a class day like Chazy has never seen before. While your class could have given up on any celebration such as this and just collected your diplomas and hit the road, you didn't. You showed us all once again that, even if you won't admit it, this place and these people are special to you. The perseverance your class has shown to even have this special day is inspiring, and we see it from you time and time again. As juniors, you began the year with no class advisors, yet still managed to put together an amazing prom, which included a heartwarming surprise in the prom court. Even back in elementary school, your class raised more money for the Make-A-Wish fundraiser than any other class had before you. Chazy is a better place because of your class and the life lessons you have taught all of us. The next time you walk on school grounds after June 26th, you won't be a student anymore, but an alumni. You're about to join the class before you and take a step out of this small town and into the big world. While I'm sure you'll never forget the memories and the friends made here, don't forget the lessons either. Every teacher or staff member has taught you something over the years, from how to solve an equation to how to stand up for something you believe in. While you may be about to start something brand new, you aren't being left stranded. You've acquired the tools and supplies you need to succeed in whatever you choose to do in the future. Not only have you left your mark on the school, but we've also left our mark on you. Even though you're about to move on from us, there will still be people who walk these halls that care about you and will do their best to help you however they can. I'd like to present you with a metaphor to think about as you take the next step in your lives. Life is like a lottery ticket. The bigger the prize you want to win, the more numbers in a row you need to guess correctly. However, in this metaphor, the numbers aren't left up to chance and guessing. Every time you take advantage of an opportunity, do well on a college exam, collect a paycheck, or whatever else you see as an accomplishment, you give yourself a number on the ticket. Maybe your ticket is 10 numbers long, maybe it's 1,000. You get to decide what you're playing for in the game of life, and you control your own ability to get there. We all have different goals in life that require different levels of time and effort to achieve. Whatever your goal may be, don't leave the ticket up to chance, because one wrong number can take away the whole prize. Work hard and earn your numbers, because at the end of the day, winning your own personal lottery will be the greatest reward of all. And if nothing else, there's 2 words your class has always seemed to live by: full send. Congratulations, class of 2020, and good luck.
Family, friends, faculty, staff, administration, and community members, welcome to the 101st Class Day at Chazy Central Rural School. We are happy to have you all join us for this celebration, though presented differently than any of us had hoped or planned.
As the class of 2020, we are very surprised we made it here. As a class, we have gone through quite a bit throughout all the years we have been at CCRS together, including this year with COVID-19 and its many struggles. However, what has happened to us through all of this is good. It has made us into better people. We will be able to appreciate the things in the future a little bit more.
It has not been easy to support our class through our ups and downs, but so many have. The faculty and staff have helped us on our path to this moment, including those teachers who took the time out of their day to help us, even after school, and the teachers that believed in us when it seemed like nobody else did. Our lunch staff who paid for our lunch when we didn't have the money with us. It has been all the parents and community members who cheered us on at our school events and helped us in making important life decisions. Everyone has helped us get to today as the class we are.
Unlike other classes, the timing of many major events in history happened as we experienced major moments in our lives. A recent video on social media sums up some of the things that we have had to overcome and have grown from. It says, "The class of 2020 is a class that has persisted through the unthinkable. We were born in the wake of 9/11. We have no memory of the world before that tragedy. We were only toddlers when companies like YouTube and Facebook first began, and we grew up along the rise of smart technology. We entered elementary school at the peak of the stock market crash. We entered middle school after the Boston Marathon bombing, and we entered high school when mass shootings became normal. But nonetheless, through every hardship and success, we have gotten stronger, we have stayed positive, and we have grown."
As a class, we thought this was a good representation of what we have gone through in our school years. As many of you know, we have always been known as the unique class. Even though many teachers have seen us as a disjointed class, we have seen our class grow in ways we didn't think were possible. While most of the time we are at each other for nearly everything, when someone was going through a hard time or something in the world was going wrong, we came together. In this way, our class seems to be cursed, but we also know that we are blessed.
We have not always been the most well-behaved class, but we have always been a class that helps. We've gone from singing at nursing homes and K-Kids to being a part of the mock car crash for SAD. We have always been willing to be there to help when needed. If someone was having trouble in a class, there was always someone there to help them and make sure that they passed.
We have grown stronger, but we have grown stronger together. Just this alone means we will always be set up for success. No matter what anyone in this audience is going through, it goes to show that there is always someone in the Chazy community who will have your back. For us as a class, we have proved this by creating an absolutely amazing prom with almost no money, but was successful solely based on our teamwork. We have been there for each other when a buddy got their four-wheeler stuck in the mud or a classmate got into a car accident. Even when it seems like no one in our class was getting along, we always seemed to come together when someone needed support.
I know that no matter where we go in life, whether it's staying in Chazy or living across the ocean, we will always have that peace of mind that we came from this community. We know that if we are in a hard time, we can always come back to school, get to see the smiles on our teachers' faces, knowing they will brighten our day. We know that with our access to social media, we are very fortunate to be able to reach out to anyone at school, including our classmates, and keep in touch.
We hear all throughout high school to cherish the moment and be sure that we appreciate our time at school, because we will look back and remember it as the good old days. Yet somehow we never truly listened. We learned a little about listening while soaking in the moments that we knew mattered. We tried to soak in the memories of prom and our first day of senior year, but sometimes the memories went too fast. We do remember everything, but we wish we would have taken a little more time to appreciate the moments.
I know many of our classmates on the first day of senior year were just waiting for the year to be over. Many of us now wish it wouldn't have ended so quickly. We are now appreciative for the little moments, like the first day in senior lounge, or the first time we realized that the younger kids looked up to us, just like we used to with the older kids. Life has made us realize that the next time we are in the good old days, we need to cherish the moment and appreciate it.
Because we have been able to learn this lesson, we are cursed but also blessed. We are very grateful for the memories we have made with our classmates these past 13 years. Many of them have been sentimental and many have been purely fun. From the first time we met in kindergarten to the last day of school in March that we did not realize would be our last day.
As a class, we would love to share with you all the memories we have made together, but unfortunately, you would be here for way too long. To recap a few moments that stand out, we remember going on a field trip to Minor Farm and the Apple Orchard and Fort Ticonderoga. We remember the dreadful quick multiplication fact quizzes, a transition to Common Core education, and making the scary switch from elementary to junior high. Our Regents exams, the 100-year celebration, and the introduction of Chromebooks in our day-to-day schooling. And we remember our culminating project that was meant to end it all, our senior legacy project.
All of our memories helped us to learn how to assist each other and motivate each other. Through our senior projects and overall education were cut short, the lessons we have learned from the experiences of the last 13 years will be with us for the rest of our lives. The education that Chazy teachers have given us has not only improved our academic knowledge, but also improved our tactical and technological education. We will continue our voluntary attitude in the future.
We would like to close by acknowledging the people who have helped us through the years to get where we are now. We would like to thank the bus drivers who have been there to get us to school and all our events while keeping us safe. We would like to thank the cafeteria staff for preparing the meals that otherwise may have not been available for many of us. We would like to thank the teaching assistants that helped make sure that every student was able to learn.
We would like to thank the community as a whole for your support, from attending our first winter weekend, helping us to make our prom happen, attending our events. You have been there for us through it all. We would like to thank our parents and families for supporting us through all the good and bad days and helping to raise us. You have always been there for us, encouraging us and supporting us for our entire lives.
And finally, we would like to thank the teachers who have taught and dealt with us for the past 13 years. We would especially like to thank the teachers that have taught us through the COVID-19 outbreak. We acknowledge it has not been easy teaching seniors as we have lost our motivation, but many teachers still put in an extreme effort to make our senior year as great as they could for us. Even though we have been through a lot the past 13 years, the people around us have made our class blessed.
We have been blessed to experience things with each other through this 13-year process. We will always have these memories, and it will always remind us of where and what we come from. To the class of 2020, we made it. We will truly miss you all more than words can describe. If it is hard for you to leave a place, you should consider yourself lucky to be part of a place so special to miss. We are blessed. Let's never forget this.
It is clear to say that the class of 2020 has been through a lot, but through all we have been through, we have always stuck together. Through the past 13 years, we have been there for each other no matter what has happened. So far, the school has pretty much been our lives, and soon that is all about to change. In a few months, we are all going to go our separate ways and start new lives. We will be working, going to college, traveling, or going wherever your life may take you. Saying goodbye to this school is not easy. We have been blessed to attend such an amazing school with amazing people who will always be there for you when you need it most. Most schools are not able to say they are as close to everyone in their class as we can as Chazy. As cheesy as it sounds, through all our experiences, we have become more of a family than classmates. I mean, most of us have been together since we were about 5, even though we didn't want to be. We did activities together that we may have pretended to hate, but actually enjoyed. And most of all, no matter what, we have always been there for each other, even when everyone else thought we couldn't be. That is a family, rather than just a class. We are about to leave this family and start creating our own new lives in just a couple months, or maybe even sooner for some. Just know that no matter what happens, our family and the community that has helped us grow will always be there for you when you need them. We are the class of 2020. We've gone through a lot, but let's keep the moments we've had through high school in our minds. Thank you for making this the best 13 years anyone could ask for. To family, to the community, and to the class of 2020.
The hall's now empty, our hearts now full, here since elementary, now left to mull. We mull over what could have been, the organic conversations we could have had, the fun we could have had on the weekends before we became high school grads. But that isn't our class. We are brazen and fearless. We don't fret on what could have passed, and nothing will break our spirit. And just like our class, we had to be unique. A tree just wouldn't pass, for our eccentricity it would not speak. So we dedicate this shrub in hopes of a better tomorrow, at Chazy, at this school, our hub, where we've all lived and grown.
Today, the class of 2020 dedicates their shrub, the elite rhododendron. This is special because it is purple, which is a combination of red and blue, which makes it 2 times better than those colors alone. This purple shrub sits next to a school rich in history and serves as a reminder of the rich and often dysfunctional history of our class. The shrub is many things, but one thing it is not is a quitter. It has persevered through many obstacles just to be able to stick its roots in this grass. Just like the class of 2020, it will make its mark on our school and its world. When winter comes, we know the shrub will turn into a ball of branches, but even when the going gets tough, we know there will always be a spring that will turn our bland shrub into once again a colorful purple. Every time we overcome adversity, we become stronger, and that is exactly what we're doing right now. Our class just might be the hardest class out of all the classes. May our shrub and our class do more than survive, maybe thrive.
Let it slide. Let your troubles fall behind you. Let it shine till you feel it all around you. And I don't mind if it's me you need to turn to. We'll get by. It's the heart that really matters in the end. Our lives are made in these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours still remain. All of my regret will wash away somehow, but I cannot forget the way I feel right now. In these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate, yeah, these twists and turns of fate, time falls away, yeah, but these small hours, these small hours still remain. Oh, they still remain. These little wonders, oh, these twists and turns of fate, time falls away, but these small hours, these little wonders still remain.
Don't blink. Just like that, you're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25. Then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink. You just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, you better have a 50 years as they're in bed, and you pray and God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think. So don't blink. I was glued to my TV when it looked like he looked at me and said, best start putting first things first. 'Cause when your hourglass runs out of sand, you can't flip it over and start again. Take every breath God gives you for what it's worth. Don't blink, just like that you're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25, then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, you better have 50 years is there in bed, and you're praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think, so don't blink. So I've been trying to slow it down, I've been trying to take it easy in this here today, gone tomorrow world we're living in. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
So we talked all night about the rest of our lives, where we're gonna be when we turn 25. I keep thinking times will never change. Keep on thinking things will always didn't know much of love, but it came too soon. And there was me and you, and then we got real blue. Stay at home talking on the telephone, and we would get so excited and we'd get so scared, laughing at ourselves, thinking life's not fair. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. So if we get the big jobs and we make the big money, when we look back now, will our jokes still be funny? Will we still remember everything we learned in school? Still be trying to break every single rule? Will little brainy Bobby be the stockbroker man? Can he ever find a job that won't interfere with the tan? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking it's our time to fly. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. Friends forever. Will we think about tomorrow like we think about now? Can we survive it out there? Can we make it somehow? I guess I thought that this would never end, and suddenly it's like we're women and men. Will the past be a shadow that will follow us round? Will these memories fade when I leave this town? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. I keep on thinking it's our time to fly. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world Dr. God go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. 'Cause you burn with the brightest flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. You can go the distance, you can run the mile. You can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try? Do it for your country, do it for your name. 'Cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. 'Cause you burn with the brightest flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. The walls of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause you burn with the brightest flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the champ, card hanging on your chest. You can be a hero, you can be the world. You can be a champion banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame.
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave.